Let's let's fuck Yago. Let's fuck them together. I think that was like right after it had been announced that she was stopping. Based. Awesome. One sec. Just pissing. Just pissing. I'm just being cool. I'm just being cool. Still think about that from the procrastinators 100 years ago. That whenever you're being a jackass, just say, "Hey, I was just being cool." I'm just being cool. I was so sad what happened to the PCP. I just rewatched and I watched like a 40-minute comp of Jesse going crazy about the yellow video thing. Remember that? I was so fucking nuts. He meant it. It, it was not a bit. No, I kind of like it more because he's just like so pissy about it. It's not yellow. My video is not yellow. Mhm. Yeah, like you just insist that you're correct. 85 fucking centimeters. They Did you really think that I wouldn't know? Yeah, right. That was before my time. That's when I was doing like
The chat is saying we can only
They
hear.
didn't hear me talking about the most important thing of all time. Okay, so I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to repeat what I
you
just
only heard
said.
me? Oh,
Yes.
that's
God, why was my
no.
own microphone muted on OBS? What the fuck?
It's so
I should have
cringe.
known.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we were talking about Endless Jess, a guy that I am very much inspired by on this podcast. So,
Endless piss.
Endless Piss. We were making fun of you taking a piss, Sinris.
I see.
Also,
That's the
hello
vicious
everyone in
cycle.
chat.
You drink the water, you undrink the water, then you have to drink more water.
I can't pod right now. I'm making piss.
Also, hello everyone in chat. Thank you for the messages. Thank you for the update on that. So yeah, we were talking about Endless Jess, who would go on these crazy, unhinged rants, but be actually mad about the things he was talking about. And that's stuff that I've brought onto this podcast. Except when I do it, it's legit a joke. So way back when we did the Steins Gate Zero episode, I had my legendary rant where I went off on people who like to make comments about the size of Mayuri Shina's breasts. I just had this whole epic like 5 minute screaming insane rant just to hopefully set the record straight, but also like I understood the entire time while I was doing this that it was ridiculous. I knew that this was just a crazy, insane thing that no one should actually take seriously, and I was hoping that no one would take it seriously. And yeah, and I was comparing it to Endless Jest because he would do stuff like that, but be actually legit serious about it.
And it's so like he took it so personally.
Yeah.
Someone said his video has yellow light, and he's like, "What do you mean yellow light? Light is the color of light. It's not yellow." And he's for 40 minutes, and he's so adamant about it. And what's so funny about it to me is imagining being in the position of trying to explain that light has color. You can have cold light and warm light,
Like,
and he just doesn't understand it.
Like,
he
the whole thing
denies
is
it.
just completely insane and ridiculous. Meanwhile, my Yushi rant, it's like I'm getting mad over over an anime girl's boobs. Like how mad can I actually be about this whole situation?
Plus, to be fair, like they did make her tits bigger in Zero.
No, they didn't.
They did.
No, they
They absolutely did. Stop it.
Although the thing that actually legit does piss me off now is that there is an image of Mayushi. Like, so when they revealed the character designs, her design for Steins Gate Zero, someone made an edit to make her boobs like gigantic, and this has spread across the internet so much that when you Google Mayuri Shina, this image is one of the top results for her, and people now pass it off like it's a real image, and it is the worst thing. That's something I will actually get mad and scream about, because that's just blatant misinformation, and I will not have that.
No, it can't be this. Can't possibly. Oh my god.
Yeah, posted in Cannibal Kids or whatever.
I think this might just be from the visual novel.
Or the edit's just that good.
No, that is from the visual novel.
Because goddamn.
No, that's normal. That's from the visual novel.
That's normal?
She's always looked like that, Panic.
No, she hasn't.
Yes, she fucking has.
I'm seeing all these other pictures of her. They're not that big.
I am the CEO of Mayuri Shina, okay? I know what the fuck she looks like. I'm gonna post this for y'all in
like, you can't even tell me that these are the same boobs. Look at that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty convincing argument.
No, the fuck it isn't.
They're
You
the
guys are
size
all
of her
wrong.
fucking head in that picture.
Yeah, they've always been like that.
But then, no,
It's not fucking new.
I posted 2 pictures. They're not identical.
God. Yes, they are. You know, it's just a different outfit. Her outfit in Zero is much more tight-fitting. That's the thing.
It
That's the
includes
explanation.
massive tits. It's a sweater with huge tits in it. That's her outfit.
See, all right, now you know what? Maybe Endless Just is right. I should take this personally. I should get mad. I need to bring back that fire that I had in 2018 when Steins Gate Zero was airing. That was the most fun I ever had with it.
Bring back that fire.
Really, though, I've never been more passionate about anything in my life than when Steins Gate Zero was airing. That was the most fun I ever had with anime.
This show where all the characters are terminally depressed.
Yeah.
So
like
sad.
For real.
Just like me. Just like us. We can all be sad together.
Speaking of Steins Gate Zero,
Speaking of sad.
recently I was pondering the stuff that I have on my shelf, because I sort of did something with my shelf. In other words, I put a box on my shelf just so I can basically have another shelf. The box is now the shelf. And so I have my Steins Gate Zero collection on there, and I'm like, yeah, I wonder how much this stuff is worth nowadays. Because I got the deluxe edition, the collector's edition of Steins Gate Zero with cool stuff in it. And I think I got it at a really good price. And I checked it on like eBay or whatever. That thing is worth hundreds now. Yeah, I am rich.
How much did you get it for?
I honestly think I only got it for like $60. Like the same price as a full price game, but it comes with the soundtrack. It comes with the fairy Upa that's in the game.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of stuff.
See, anime could be an investment.
It can, absolutely.
We're doing business here.
It's business time. Meanwhile, I'm over here drowning in plastic that'll only ever sell for like 60% of what I paid for it.
Well, we're always drowning in plastic, Panic. It's called microplastics.
That's true.
So
Oh my god.
true.
Oomphy. That's so true.
I wanted to turn my webcam on so you can actually see my collection, but alas, it's not cooperating, because it always does shit like this. Oh, wait. Now, here we go. Just switching to a different view for a little bit. Boom. There we go. Hello. Live from Luxland. Or Mozland, whatever you want to call me. Let me turn off that
Luxembourg.
autofocus.
Is it Saturday night?
It is a Saturday day. Ooh, yeah, there we go. All right. This also has nothing to do with the stuff that I mentioned in the title, where I just assumed we were going to talk about Tears of the Kingdom and touching grass.
Right.
So
Tears of
far,
the
we've
Kingdom.
done very little grass touching talk.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Moz doesn't have the game. I'm probably not gonna get it for a while.
Oh, no, Moz, you have the game, don't you?
No, I'm playing Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you're playing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
I see.
I
When I was playing yesterday, I saw you come on my friends list playing Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. Which is why I know you have it, because you're on there.
Right.
Now, I've only started playing Breath of the Wild like 3 weeks ago or so. It turns out that was not enough time for me to finish it in time for the new one to come out.
Games are quite large.
They are.
Games take time, and time is something we don't have a lot of because we're old and we need to watch anime and have jobs.
And we're touching grass.
And touching grass. Well, I never beat Breath of the Wild. I got to like the volcano part. I was like, okay, and I died running up the volcano, and then and then people are telling me, oh, just drink a potion, get the ice potion, run up the volcano. But I don't do drugs, okay?
The weather effects
my link
bullshit.
is a completely straight edge role play. I'm not gonna.
It's funny you mentioned that because my main goal in Breath of the Wild so far has been to light up all the towers. And so I have all but one tower lit up. The last one that I need is the one next to the volcano. And I have tried every method of getting to this thing. I'm even thinking like, you know what, I'll just brute force it. I don't care if it sets me on fire. I will just heal constantly. But it's not been worth it. And so that is the one tower I have left.
Right. But apparently you can just like drink an ice potion and run up there.
Yeah, I'm waiting to get
fire
some.
clothes.
I'm sure you get some means of accessing this place later, but I have to figure that out, which is kind of something that's giving me anxiety because it's like once I get these towers, or I guess now that I have gotten all the towers except the one that's impossible to, it's like, what do I do now?
It's also a lot of that. It's like, where do I go?
Yeah.
I don't remember how much they explained to you what your goal is in that game.
Not
Not
much.
a
They
lot.
basically just say, I don't even really think they explain the shrines all that well. They just kind of say, go find the 4 divine beasts and then go kill the castle man.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's all. That's pretty much all there is to the game.
In a way, yeah.
And aside from that, you just run around and do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Mr. Castleman,
Which is cool, but I like something that's kind of worrying me is that once I get all the towers, I'm going to lose interest in doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's simultaneously... Because there's so much that I have to do in the game that it's just like, I don't know where to start, and then I'll just get stuck on all the choices and not do anything. I'll be paralyzed.
It's a lot of going in a direction and then being distracted 4,000 times on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is... And I kind of just got tired of that. But speaking of something like that, I'm thinking I'm going to start Elden Ring. If it will fucking let me. Because it won't install on my PlayStation. It gets stuck every time. And I'm losing my mind. Like, it got to 53%. Because what it does is, it doesn't tell you this, but stealthily it will install in the background. So at some point you'll get to a door and it'll say, you can't open this because it's still installing. And you're like... But it already installed. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, so you go to the main menu, and there's like 53% up in the corner. and it doesn't move. So I Googled it, and someone said, "Oh, uninstall it, and then when it tells you to download the like an update file, stop that, because that can like fuck it up apparently." So I did that once, didn't work, got to like 38%, then deleted everything again, started over in offline mode, just no chance to download anything. Got stuck at 38% again.
Oh my God.
So now I'm trying for the fourth time. And I'm thinking, well, it's not my disc, it's my brother's, so I'm not gonna break it. But I
not
will,
like it's my little brother.
Oh no, that wasn't me. It was my brother. He got my phone. I don't know what happened. Yeah. So if it will let me, then I'm gonna give it a shot. Now that all the hype's dead, everybody else has beaten it. No
DLC eventually, they did announce it a while ago
for Elden Ring.
For Elden Ring, yeah.
It'll come out whenever George R. Martin writes it. So
I mean,
20 years.
From Soft's record, the DLC is basically always the best part of their games.
It's true. Well, I don't really know. Dark Souls 1, the DLC was like the Painted World, right?
No, Painted World is base game. The DLC was
that was
when you
Manos,
go
the Hand
back
of
in
Fate.
time and you
fight
Artorias and Manus. Yeah.
God, Artorias' design goes so hard. That's like one of the best character designs of all time.
Yeah.
He's so fucking cool. That's right. That is a great part of the game.
Yeah. I have, like, every single game that they've released, the DLC has been the best part.
Oh boy. Boy, oh boy.
Except Sekiro, lol.
I always forget that even exists.
What was that?
Does the Sekiro not have DLC?
Sekiro did not get a full DLC ever. It got this, like... It got a little bit of add-ons where you could do, like, a boss rush mode or something, which is... It's neat, but it's not on the level.
I see.
Something I did beat recently was Sonic Frontiers. Like, speaking of Breath of the Wild. There's like Sonic of the Wild, I guess.
Sonic of the Wild.
Big open world, empty, just like side quests you run around and fight weird enemies in. That is such like a tonally confused game. Because it'll have this like sad, melancholy, like orchestra music when you're running around in the open world. It feels so like dour. And then you get to the world boss and it's just like metalcore. It's so fucking good. Like those songs go hard and I love them, but they do not fit with the rest of the game. Like when you go supersonic and fight the titans.
Awesome.
Like the boss fights are insane. The rest of the game is just really weird. And Sonic has a really deep voice for some reason. Like they made him sound like a 50...
Shadow?
No, because he's not like mysterious. He's not like gravelly. He's just really deep, normal adult voice. He just sounds like a dad or something.
Well, he is old enough to be a dad.
That is not how Sonic should sound. He should be all peppy.
Please, Mr. Hedgehog is my father's name.
Mr. Hedgehog. Mr. Hog. It's not even that long either. Like, unsurprisingly, you go through it pretty fast because you're Sonic. It's like, they can only make the open world so big because you're fucking fast.
I never know with the things I hear about these kinds of games how much of it is real issues and how much is people dunking. Like, is it true that you'll just move so fast a lot of the time that the game will not load obstacles before you hit them?
I did not have that, and I played on Switch.
Okay.
Oh.
Objectively, the lowest performance version. It worked fine on Switch. But I could see that being an issue. That has historically been an issue with Sonic games.
Sonic games are just such messes. And I'm not even talking about like, oh, Sonic is bad, like game quality. I'm just talking about controlling them, even back in the good games, has always been a fucking nightmare.
Nah, man. Sonic Adventure 2 was like perfection. It was so snappy. in every way that mattered.
That's just not true.
Yes,
I love
it is.
That game. I love that game. You will like run off of shit all the time.
No, not if you know what. Not if you're a gamer. Not if you're good. Sounds like a skill issue.
Maybe it is a skill issue, but
The one that you run off shit all the time is Sonic Heroes, where you'll punch with Knuckles and it just sends you flying.
that's also true. I fucking love Sonic Heroes though.
Sonic
Now,
Heroes
there's
is
a
fun,
game.
but that is also like the controls. It'll just launch you 100 miles an hour off to the side if you miss your punch.
Man, I played so much fucking Sonic Heroes as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
Shoutouts to the Chaotix. Why the fuck aren't the Chaotix in anything anymore?
Because they suck ass.
No, I
They're
forgot you're a
so-
hater.
Damn.
Charmy the Bee is the worst character of all time.
Okay, I'm not gonna defend Charmy the Bee.
Espio
you got-
is okay,
You
but
gotta love Vector and SBO.
you have Bex the alligator,
Bex?
who is awesome.
Bex is
Oh,
in
Bex.
is in Sonic?
That's right, as a big gold chain wearing alligator who's actually a crocodile.
That sounds fucking awesome.
And Vector is awesome. I love Vector. Espio just feels like Dollar Store Shadow. He's
Yeah.
edgy in the Shadow kind of way, but he kind of looks weird. And then Charmy just is ass. But Vector is awesome.
I'm glad we can at least appreciate Vector together.
Everybody loves a he's big himbo energy.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody loves crocodiles. They're fucking awesome.
You know, you mentioned that the game runs fine on the Switch, despite the Switch being low quality. I've really been thinking lately, like, what Nintendo is going to do with their next console, supposedly. Like, number one, when is
Will
it even
they
going
ever?
to come out? Yeah, like, what are they going to do beyond this?
Like, will they finally do a linear upgrade and not make something really weird?
I mean, I kind of feel like that would
Do
make
they
the
have
most
that
sense.
in them?
I feel like
Is
that
it
would make the
possible?
most sense. I mean, like, literally, I think that they should just make Switch 2. Just do that.
They won't, though. They won't.
Why
Because they're
won't-
Nintendo. They have to do something really goofy.
I mean, the thing is, though, the Switch is like their best-selling console ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why bother even doing
But
something?
so
different?
was... But at the time, so was the Wii. And then they made the
thing is,
Wii U.
though- yeah, the thing is, though, the Wii was super popular at first, and then it lost steam over time. And then, yeah, I guess they doubled down with the Wii U to kind of try doing something different. I don't really know what the issue was with the Wii U. I don't know if it was necessarily a hardware issue or more the fact that no one really knew what the fuck the Wii U was when it
I
came
don't think
out.
they explained it very well, and I think the name was too close.
Yeah,
to
like
the
everyone,
Wii.
Yeah.
like when it came out, a lot of people were just like, "Wait, is the Wii U a tablet or is it like a new?"
I think it
is an
also
extension
sounds
of the
like
Wii?
the 3DS
Right.
versus the DS, or like
Yeah.
the DS
Where-
Lite. Or it sounds like a slightly different version of the
Yes.
Wii.
It
And
sounds
so
like
people
it
say,
would-
"Oh, I already have a Wii. I don't need this."
Yeah,
Right.
it was.
So when
it was
people
pretty
have
weird.
a 3DS, they say, "Well, I don't need any of these other DSs. They all play the same games.
Right.
Why would I need any of these other ones?"
But I think that was
Then-
the biggest issue with the Wii, though, like the fact that it just kind of lost steam overall, and it's like it was built around motion controls, and after a couple of years, everyone has kind of stopped caring about motion controls in general.
Yeah.
But with the Switch, doesn't have any sort of issue like that. Like the only issue this console has is that it's just not as powerful, so it just doesn't
Well,
run some games.
Saying that the Switch doesn't have an issue with motion control is all well and good, but me trying to fucking shoot arrows
Oh.
in Tears of the Kingdom
Yes.
last night would disagree.
Absolutely, yeah, that shit sucks. But I mean, the good thing about Tears of the Kingdom is that I hear it runs well on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
Like
That's
it's,
great.
this console is
Tailor made.
It's 6 years into its life, and it's still kicking ass. Everyone is still wanting to get a Switch and play it because a new Zelda just came out, new Pokemon just came out, fucking Splatoon just dropped. What else came out? Like Kirby had a new game last year. Like it's still putting
Smash
out
Bros.
bangers.
Still fucking sells like hotcakes.
Yeah.
It's funny. I remember when the Switch first came out, one of my roommates got it, and we set it up and everything. And just within like the first 24 hours of owning it, we used the console in like all 3 of its different like controller variations.
That's awesome.
Not like to test it out or anything, not to be like, oh, how good are these various features? And just like naturally it came about that was the optimal way to use it at any given time. And as soon as I realized that we had done that, I was like, okay, they finally did it. They finally made like the perfect game console.
Yeah.
Like it would make sense for them to just do a linear upgrade. Make a sequel, make it play the same games as the old one,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just run them
It
better.
has to have backwards compatibility. That's
But they always have to do something, like they'll make, like every time they make a new 3DS, something weird. Like it doesn't have an audio jack. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have that. It looks like shit. They always have to fuck it up somehow.
I feel like they might have learned, though. I feel like this time around, the fact that they didn't do something like super crazy weird. I mean, I guess they kind of did with the Switch, but the fact that, you know, it plays games normally, that's the most important thing.
Right.
You can do normal stuff with this console. I think that just kind of like they know this time around that they don't need to change the formula. They don't need to change how people play games. They just found the optimal way for this console to work, and I agree that this is like the best this is the most fun I've ever had with a console. I think I've had this thing in half the time I've had my PS4, and I've probably already used it way more.
Oh yeah, same. Yep.
But I'm with Panic. I do not trust Nintendo to get out of their own way on this kind of thing.
They're like Charlie Brown pulling the football out from under himself. It's like it's right there. Just kick it.
It will be interesting because this is the first console they'll make without input from Iwata.
Oh yeah.
Because the Switch was basically Iwata's idea way back when.
Oh. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna make a Switch too, but it has 3 controllers on it. It has one on the bottom too. It has a third Joy-Con on the back.
Oh,
for some reason.
You know what it's going to be? It's going to be like the PlayStation Vita, where it has a touchpad on the back of it for no reason.
Or the attachments on the side of the screen will be in the shape of the Nintendo 64 controller.
Oh hell yeah!
That fucking
that's why
monstrosity.
it will have that. That's why it'll have a third one protruding out the bottom.
Yeah.
That is definitely
The
something.
worst. That's got to be the worst controller of all time of like a major system.
So weird. It's made for 3 hands. Why did they do that?
Yeah, that is something I hope they improve next time around. Holding it does not feel good.
And if they could make their Joy-Cons not fucking like drift after an hour of using them, that would be great.
An issue with that.
I have not had an issue with that either.
I have. And it's maddening.
Maybe I just have a magical Switch.
They don't.
Perfect.
They don't last very long. Those goddamn joysticks.
I got the special Animal Crossing version of the Switch.
That's why.
It's all cute and pretty.
It's the cuteness.
Yeah.
Making it all the different.
I have not even played Animal Crossing. I do not have this game. I just have the Switch.
Oh, speaking of Animal Crossing, like I loaded it up just for fun a couple of weeks ago, and all the villagers were like, "It's been a year and 6 months. Where the fuck were you?"
I love that it's always been a mainstay of the Animal Crossing franchise that the game shames you for doing things.
Right.
I remember playing as a kid and like on the GameCube. And if you just turned it off without saving, the next time you loaded it up, there'd be like a 2-minute long thing you had to sit through where Mr. Rossetti yelled at you.
Mr. Rossetti, yeah. It's because I learned that a lot of games have like backup save data, but like per default, but not Animal Crossing. You have to go into the settings and back up your island.
Yeah.
So I did that just in case. And decided to check in. I was check the stores. I was like, oh, they still don't have any new things. Great. It's been a year and a half. Nothing new.
I was right to abandon you.
I was right to leave. Well, I said hi to all my besties.
Oh, good.
Sherry and Anka, you know. Gotta keep up appearances. and then I left them forever.
Bye-bye. Like our old Neopets.
Bye, nerds. Were they different from Tamagotchis? I've heard about Neopets.
Yes. They're very similar in concept, but they are legally distinct entities.
So in reality, they're the same.
Yeah, I
More
mean,
or
yes.
Legally distinct. It just means they're the same.
I wonder what it would be like being someone who is still active on Neopets.com.
Do they still make Neopets?
I mean, the website's still going, so...
Yeah. The website's still up. I know of people who use it.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Where are they?
Well,
One of the best channels on YouTube, Drawfee.
oh, Drawfee.
Oh, I think I... Isn't that the person who did the video on, like, how their economy... Well, no, wait, that was Guy Online. Never mind.
No,
Wrong
they're just like an art entertainment channel where they do like drawing challenges and stuff.
Aren't they,
But
like,
one of them
famous?
does play Neopet, so every once in a while they'll do a drawing challenge where it's like Karina gives the name and a brief description of a Neopet, and you have to draw what you think it looks like, and they're always completely deranged.
But Drawfee, no, not Drawfee. Neopets. It's all on an app now, right? You don't actually have a Neopet.
And I have to imagine that that's correct.
Probably.
I cannot confirm, but
Sounds like we need
That
to
would
do
make
some
sense. That would be a
research.
phone app, yeah.
Welcome to Neopets.
Did you just
Hey.
visit the website?
Yes.
Wow.
Is it time
For
for us all to
science.
get into Neopets?
Wow. You know what? Let's do this.
Is it owned by Nickelodeon? I think it is.
Is it?
Well, these things look like fucking garbage.
I mean, it's only
These
like
are horrible.
it's only like an old Flash game from the 2000s.
These designs are just horrible. Who the fuck would play this?
Kids in
Furries.
the 2000s.
Kids in the 2000s and furries.
Yeah, maybe this
and
did
people are
start
nostalgic
something.
about being a kid in the 2000s. Also, my headphones just died, so I
Oh,
have
no.
to fix that.
Oh no.
One moment, please.
Let's see, Neopets.com.
Neopets NFTs? Fuck yeah.
Yo!
Let's
Oh wow,
go.
they updated the front of their website for the first time since like 2002. This is totally different. Official Neopets.
Neopets Metaverse announces its sponsorship of NFT.nyc.
Of course.
Fuck yeah.
Support.
Guys, remember NFTs?
Remember NFTs? What a concept.
Remember Line Go Up?
Jumpstart. Where the fuck am I?
Okay, now I can hear.
Do you remember NFTs?
No, what are those?
Yeah, I don't know. It came up in Neopets search. Now I'm wondering. Sounds like a dumb thing.
Okay, I'm actually wondering, like, what is Neopets now? I'm just on its website and it just has nothing on it. Like, it has links to community, merch, support. Where are the games?
Where the gate? It's on the app.
It's all on an app now?
Probably.
Fuck.
Fuck, I don't have a phone.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
God.
Happy, not perfect. What the fuck is this? Is an ad? Okay. I'm getting scammed. Neopets Fairies Hope. Play today. Get it on the App Store. Wow. Things are different now.
It's current year. Welcome to phone year.
Welcome to the
2023.
23rd century. Why did I say 23rd? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why you
I
said
thought you were doing a bit.
dumb.
Yeah. No, I'm just being.
No, was I
fucking
wrong
stupid.
about that? You were just saying shit?
Yep. I do
Well-
just be saying stuff sometimes.
But anyways, you've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. How is it?
So I've done just like the first starting area, just like the original game. They put you like high up above everything else at the start, and you can't go anywhere until you do like the first shrines and you acquire all the powers. And that section has felt pretty much 100% identical to Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Is that good?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty good, given that Breath of the Wild.
I hear people
fucks. Yeah,
I hear people like Breath of the Wild, so it's probably good.
I have heard through the grapevine that like the first 5 hours of the game are very similar to Breath of the Wild, and then it kind of becomes more of its own thing. But I can neither
then the
confirm
kingdom
nor
starts
deny.
crying.
Yeah. The like intro cutscene and everything is super sick. The like fucking zombie Ganon that you find and everything.
Ooh.
It's very cool. The new powers that you get are really fun. It's like they're just kind of leaning into the weird MacGyver-y shit that you could do in the first game, but like weren't really incentivized to do. Just like putting different things together and seeing what happens.
Yeah, that's what I hear is the big thing. You can fuse stuff.
Yeah, now like your big invisible hand that moves things around also can like fuse things together. And you have another power that like lets you take a weapon and just stick some shit on it.
Ooh.
So you now have a sword with a giant rock at the end.
Cool.
And that's like a distinct weapon with like different properties than like a sword with other shit stuck on it.
What the fuck?
We're suddenly Dead Rising. Okay, no one got that.
So I've been
I did.
Yeah,
I did it. Don't worry.
I have been finding it to be really, really cool so far.
That's cool.
Cool. So I'll play it in 3 years.
Yeah, same.
Whenever Elden Ring stops installing. Which will be never. Another Nintendo game I played recently, it was the remake of Metroid Prime.
Yeah, how was that? I meant to play that, but then
it's
didn't.
So good. Well, that's so weird because I got it when it came out in 2002, and a lifetime ago, on my shining new GameCube. And I never got very far in it. Like, I'd get to the ice world, and I would be like, "This is too scary. I'm gonna start over."
Oh, no.
I would just play the first, 2 hours of the game over and over because I was
That's
so
childhood, baby. I remember doing that with fucking Sly Cooper.
Right, because I was terrified to progress in it because it was my first ever FPS, and the controls were so weird on GameCube. Like, you moved and aimed with the same stick, so it felt very claustrophobic, and it's just so uncomfortable. I never felt comfortable in that game. But now it's on the Switch, and I'm 20 years older. It's like, oh, this is easy.
That's awesome.
Such a short game too.
It was so funny when they were marketing the remake, seeing people point out that this game is so old. The fact that you aim and move with different sticks is a selling point of the remake.
Right. It was so crazy, like opening it and seeing like this time we have dual stick controls. I'm like, yeah, incredible.
I never played the original one, but Metroid Prime 3 was one of my favorite games.
I tried a bit of 2 and 3 when like the trilogy came out for the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping they would remaster all 3 of them for the Switch. God, I hope they do. The 2 others.
Yeah.
Before we get Metroid Prime 4 sometime 10 years from now.
On the next Nintendo console.
In the 23rd century.
Yeah.
Millennium. Whenever they see fit to release that. Because that's like the thing. They're making a 4th one now. No one alive, young people, have played the first one. Because they weren't born. It's over 20 years old. Like they're gonna have to re-release.
I can't believe
the
it's
first
over
3.
20 years old. That's crazy.
And I still remember it looking pretty dang good. Like it was a beautiful game at the time. Like the fact
Yeah.
that you could shoot a rocket and you'd see the reflection of her face on the visor. It was like, oh, it's the future, baby. This is the lighting. It'll never get better than this. Unironically, the first Luigi's Mansion still has some of the best like lighting engine in all of gaming.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah.
Is that true?
I think so. I mean, it feels so because you have a flashlight that you have to aim around with, and whatever engine they use to do the lighting, it's so solid. Often, like you play a game with a flashlight, and it's just like this completely bright circle with no bleed or whatever, no like feathering around the edges. That's not how a
Right.
flashlight works.
Right, yeah.
They did that right in Luigi's Mansion.
Cool.
It's like Nintendo had their shit together at an early time.
You know, I
Let's
wanted
go,
I wanted
Luigi.
to respond to claustrophobic controls on GameCube games. Did you ever play the original Resident Evil 4?
No, I hate horror games.
Because OG Resident Evil 4, I don't know about the new one, the one that just came out, but Resident Evil 4 has the fucking worst controls ever. I played that shit for like 5 minutes and I'm like, fuck this. This is the worst shit ever made.
Wasn't it like the old ones, like tank controls?
Yes.
That is so fucking
Tank
old
controls?
school. And
What do you mean tank controls?
it means that you turn in place and then you press forward.
Yes.
What?
You cannot.
That is how the
move
first-
while you shoot in a shooting game.
That is how the first Silent Hill games and Resident Evil games moved.
Resident
that
Evil
was
carried that
survival
all the
horror.
way to Resident Evil 5 because I actually played that one for some reason because I have nothing else to do. At the
They
time.
also did it in 5. That's right.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
Resident Evil 5
it
is
was
not good. Are they gonna? I wonder if they'll remake that game because no one likes it.
they did like they remastered it for PS4.
Remake.
Oh, they're not gonna remake it. Well, people do love Sheva. Like she's fucking so hot.
That's
Best
the only
character they ever
reason
made.
why. I
Like,
guess that's the only reason why anyone likes any other character.
she's so fine. But that is like the first game where you see like the ever growing like bulk of Chris Redfield. Like he just gets like 50 pounds more muscle per game. He is so huge now.
Yeah.
I liked 5. I played it with a buddy. We beat it in split screen.
Yeah, it was meant to be played co-op, I guess.
I remember that
Too
was
bad
the
I don't
one
have
that
friends.
it started a shitstorm because you were killing black people in it, but it was in Africa. It's the setting is Africa. Of course, there's black zombies. Like, sorry for trying to set it in a different setting, not just Raccoon City again. Like, we want to try a different continent. Sorry, guess we
I
can't
remember
do that.
bringing up my hatred for Resident Evil's controls back in the day, and people, I really got roasted for it. People were just like, "Ah, fuck you, you're just bad, skill issue," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's the game that's fucking bad. How do you like this?"
Maybe
The
that's
fucking designers had a skill issue.
Exactly.
skill issue. No, it is the game who is wrong. And sometimes it is the fucking game that's wrong. Like, I do like that, though, in old survival horror games. Because it's not like you have to rush to get somewhere. Not always.
I mean, I get the point of it. The point is that it's supposed to be slow. It's supposed to be more scary that way, and I guess it works.
Mm-hmm.
But in some ways, I'm just screaming at my character, "Move, idiot!"
Like, when something runs at you in Silent Hill 3, you can't just, like, flick shot at it. It's not like a Twitch shooter. You kind of have to just, like, okay, switch to shotgun, turn over. Oh, it got me. Slowly turn around, slowly. I think it adds to the charm. That's such an old way of designing games. Like the
Do you guys like horror things?
no,
I have no
despise them.
preference. I haven't played enough to have a preference.
I
What
hate
about,
horror
like, movie
movies.
stuff?
I hate
Yeah,
horror games.
or even seen enough to have a preference.
I don't want to say that I dislike them, but I'm just so bad at them. Like, I tried to watch The Witch with some of my friends a bunch of years ago, and I made it literally less than 5 minutes in before being like, I'm gonna have to peace out on this one, pals.
Yeah. Well, that would be it's like I just don't even try. It's just like I'm gonna be so uncomfortable. I'm not gonna watch it. Not gonna be looking when things are happening because I'll be covering myself with a blanket. I'm not gonna be watching the movie. I'm just gonna hear people scream.
Like, it's hard for me to answer because I guess I haven't really delved into a lot of, like, I guess, classic, like, scary horror. Because the horror I generally dabble is in, like, really silly, ridiculous horror type of stuff. Like Final Destination. Right. I've been kind of on that lately.
Like, I wouldn't mind watching
those movies. Where it's just people fucking dying in hilarious ways. And it's like, haha, it's just funny.
How stupidly can we make people die?
Yeah.
It's like they throw a dart at a board of random objects and they're like, okay, make them die with this.
I just think it's funny for me because I'm like really into thrillers, you know? I watch a lot. I love thrillers. That's like my favorite genre.
So you love suspense.
Yeah, I do. But there's something that's different about it when it's horror, you know?
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
They're very similar sensations, but they just hit different, as one might say.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I should test my horror capabilities because there's like a really good horror movie out right now in theaters.
Terrifier?
No, not that.
Probably talking about Beau is Afraid.
Yes, that's what.
Is that a horror?
Yes.
It's by Ari Aster, who's the guy who did like Midsommar and Hereditary.
Yeah.
Midsommar.
Which are also really fucked up movies that I've heard are really fucked up.
Yeah.
I know very little about Midsommar except some diarrhea.
Ew.
Someone shits themselves.
Ew.
I think you should take to it pretty normally because it shows your culture.
Right. It's is it set in Scandinavia?
You'll feel just at home. I think so. I haven't actually seen it. Sweden. It's in Sweden.
It is in Sweden. That makes more sense. They're right. They're fucked up over there. I don't engage in Swedish culture at all. Except all the IKEA stuff I own. So much IKEA. Thank God for IKEA.
I should go to IKEA to get myself a real shelf for my $300 Steins Gate Zero.
Their Kvisle paper like archive system thing is a godsend for wargamers because it is just enough height to put a model in there, and it's metal, so you can just magnetize them and they stick. It's perfect.
Cool.
I have 5 of them. Just stuffed full of minis.
Oh, back to an earlier thing that you were talking about, Panic. Something I wanted to say, like when we were talking about the Switch, is that a justification for a new Switch coming out is that there aren't really any more big Nintendo franchises with something on the way. You know, like they've kind of dropped everything in the last year or two. But then I just remembered Metroid Prime 4 still has to come out. Whenever the fuck that's going to happen.
I mean, they must be working on a new Mario game too, right?
That's the thing. They said.
Oh yeah,
so.
Wasn't there like Bowser's whatever?
Yeah, Bowser's
was
Fury.
Supposed to be like a Bowser's Fury was supposed to be like a demo for something.
Yeah,
it's out though, right?
Yeah, that's
Bowser's Fury is out.
Yeah, it's been out for a while. I think they have said that they're making like Mario Odyssey 2 or whatever.
Right.
My guess is that that's going to happen as a launch title for the next console, like how Breath of the Wild was a launch title for the Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that really helped the Switch when
right.
Like,
no, it
get this new console.
Sense.
There's a new Zelda on it. Now this next time around, it'll be like, hey, get the new console. There's a new Mario game on it.
What was the thing? Yeah, they show. I remember something about launch titles in Zelda triggered this old memory. That one of the things they showed to market the Wii U was an HD Zelda game, and then it never came
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah.
And then it became Breath of the Wild and came out on the Switch. So everybody who bought the Wii U thinking they were gonna get a new Zelda
Oh,
game,
that's right. That's
They-
right.
they're
Yeah.
just fucked over.
I mean,
It's just
it did launch on the Wii U as well, for what it's worth. But I mean, I know what you're saying.
yeah. No, wait. I think no. It became. Wait, was it?
Yeah,
Twilight
yeah. It was.
Princess? Or am I?
No,
not
Twilight Princess was on the Wii.
Skyward Sword. Is that what it was?
No, that was also on the Wii.
That's also on. God,
Yeah.
that was on the GameCube and the Wii, wasn't it?
Twilight Princess was on the GameCube and Wii.
Okay. Right.
Well,
yeah.
it was one of those. And
A lot of people bought a Wii U thinking they were going to get a new Zelda game, and then they didn't.
Yeah. I
They
do
got
have
pranked.
friends who were burned by that. Kind
Get
of like
fucked.
kind of like me, who got a PS3 thinking that Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be on it.
And then here we are, pay the PlayStation
it-
5, and still no game.
Yeah. There was something I wanted to add to that, but I forgot it. Oh well.
Oh well.
Oh well. Guardians of the Galaxy is good, the new one.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm gonna see it tonight.
Cool.
Great.
Oh, sorry, not 2, 3.
That's so fucking good. Like I happened to be at like walking past the theater on my way home from work. I was like, oh, it's in 15 minutes. Well, I guess I'll just go see it.
Yeah.
Well, I got shit
Why
to do
not?
today.
I've seen
I'm
like
a-
3 different people in our server, including you, I think, have come out of it and said, I cried.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is about. Like the second one did it too. I think it's all the
I did not like the second one, actually. That's an unpopular opinion, but I did not
I think
enjoy
the second
at all.
one is the worst of the 3, but the
Mhm.
ending makes me cry.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah, the ending is good. I just thought I just liked a lot of the humor in the second.
It's
I thought
whenever it
Drax was
touches
super annoying.
it's whenever it touches on the theme of family and found family and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It does it so well. And it's just like several times in this movie I'm like tearing up. Like this is so beautiful, guys.
Uh-huh.
And just how rough Rocket Raccoon's backstory, like a character so silly having
Right.
like the most rough backstory you've ever seen in a Marvel movie.
Uh-huh.
It's hardcore.
Did
Some of the-
I
yeah.
never saw Thor Ragnarok. Were the Guardians like actually important in that one?
They're not in Ragnarok.
They're not.
They're in Love and Thunder. If that's
Or
what you
Love
mean.
and Thunder. That's what I meant.
Yeah. No, not really. Like he's with them at the beginning because he's having like a midlife crisis kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's Thor's whole thing in that movie is like finding
Okay,
himself
but
again.
there's nothing I
right?
need to know from that one for this.
No, not really. No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
Cool.
It's
Interesting.
also not a great movie. But the like how the soundtrack is finally moved up to like the late 90s, 2000s. Like every movie it moves up a decade.
Oh, that's funny.
Right.
That's great. Man, the music choices were so good. This is just a fun movie. Like you
I
can
love
tell James
fun.
Gunn just loves making movies.
Fucking asshole gets to do what he loves for a living and is lording it over all of us.
What a piece of shit.
Damn it.
I hate that.
Fucking nuts that. Wait, didn't he get fired?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But now
And
he's
then-
making this is another Marvel movie, so he's back.
Right. And then he got allowed to come back.
Right. Well, that was smart of them because no one else could have done this. I think. Get Zack Snyder to make it the most dour, just depressing sack of shit movie you've ever seen. But before, like the best part of the theater experience was, of course, the trailers for the Meg 2 and Fast and Furious X.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude! Cinema is back on the menu.
I
Jason
love
Statham.
that.
Jason Statham is here to save movies. I fucking love Jason Statham
Is Jason
so
Statham
much.
also in Meg?
He's the main character in the Meg.
Oh my god.
He plays Jonas, the deep sea
Jonas.
something. Get it? Because of Bible.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll allow it.
I'll
That's
allow
not
it.
bad.
It's so funny because in the trailer they're like, "That's the biggest mech I've ever seen," and then he goes, "It's the biggest one anyone's ever seen." Of course it is. No one's ever seen a fucking mech, you idiot. It's an extinct animal.
That's awesome.
But I think there's also like a giant hammerhead shark. Like things are gonna go fucking crazy in the Meg too.
Well, speaking of giant shark, I'm really looking forward to Big Shark.
Big Shark.
Tommy Wiseau's new movie.
Tommy was so. That's right.
Oh yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Big Shark.
When is that coming up?
I
Big Shark.
don't know.
Looks like it's.
I feel like that movie is going to be what everyone thought or wanted Cocaine Bear to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like everyone went into Cocaine Bear thinking like, oh wow, it's going to be this crazy epic B-movie ridiculous movie, and then like and then it came out and everyone was like, that was kind of boring.
The only good thing that makes me want to see Cocaine Bear is that it has that guy with the TikToks. Like, I would like to speak to a manager and say what, and then the music starts playing. Like you know who I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen.
Oh man, like he made a promo for it too. What the fuck is his name? Keep talking. I'm gonna find him.
Big Shark does not have a release date, but it just says 2023. So that's it. I wanted to say when I went to see Suzume a week or two ago, I got the one trailer I remember seeing was for Transformers. There's a new Transformers movie. It's like the 7th one. I have no idea how many there are.
I stopped paying attention after the 3rd one, I think.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the 3rd one. I only saw the first.
Scott Sice is his name. Like just a mustachioed comedian. Okay. You just lost yourself a customer. You think I own this business? Just the best comebacks to Karen types. It's fucking gold. Apparently he's in the movie and he did a promo for the movie. Like, is there anything I need to know before watching Cocaine Bear? No. It's a bear on cocaine.
I can't believe the marketing somehow tricked people into thinking that movie was going to be good.
I don't think it tricked.
Perfect.
I don't think it tricked anybody into thinking it was going to be good. Just that it was going to be crazy. But it's like when a movie is crazy on purpose, it rarely actually works.
Uh-huh.
The same with like Sharknado. I'm not going to watch a movie called Sharknado because it knows it's being ridiculous. Now, Birdemic, that is a top tier piece of shit B movie by a guy who thought he was making art. And that's what makes it great.
See, if you want to watch a real shit tier B movie, you got to go for the stuff that was trying to cash in on Sharknado.
Yes.
Like Stonenado.
all the other weird ones. But no, you got to find the movies that are made by people who think they're actually like making a movie.
This is why I'm a big fan of Roland Emmerich and his disaster porn movies.
Yes.
They're all such dumb shit.
But like the most recent Moonfall, I think. Wasn't it Moonfall?
Yeah, for some reason I still haven't seen that one.
He funded it himself.
Pretty much.
Maybe it wasn't. Yeah. No, wait, Moonfall was the one with like Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, right?
No. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, that was Don't Look at Something. Don't Look Up. That's the one I was talking about. In which I think the moon is also falling, and that's why I'm confusing them.
That would make sense.
It's just a world where nobody wants to address the fact that the moon is falling. They're just all pretending everything's fine, and it's a clever commentary about global warming. Get it?
Is this Local 58? That's a
No.
reference.
That's a
Obscure
good
reference.
But yeah, Moonfall. He like funded it himself, and it flopped. But
Yeah, no one
You know
fucking
what?
saw it.
I have a lot of respect for like basically funding the biggest indie movie of all time and just because you just want to
Yeah.
make shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect Roland Emmerich a lot. Like he knows what he's doing. He knows he doesn't make like quote unquote good movies. He knows the writing sucks ass and all the characters suck ass in them. But he's like, you know what? I just like making these movies where shit gets destroyed because that's cool.
Where
And I'm
where
like,
they
you
use
know what?
some
I so agree. You're so real for that.
where they pull out like a piece of tech as like, oh, I'm gonna adjust the crypto, blah 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 blah, and it's like a controller for an LED like movie light with a bit of scotch tape on it. It's just he doesn't give a shit, and I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
I think now is the time where I plug my favorite piece of media of all time, Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Let's go.
And shout outs to the part in the 3rd season of Thunderbolt Fantasy where they pull out a Nendoroid of one of the characters.
What the fuck? Oh my god, that is hilarious. That's awesome.
It's like the character is like a wizard, right? And he creates this like tiny homunculus of himself so that he can like communicate with one of the other characters from a distance, and it's literally just a Nendoroid of him.
Fucking awesome. Holy shit. Perhaps I treated this show too harshly.
It's so fucking unbelievably good. Like it takes you 1, maybe 2 episodes to get over the fact that they're all these goofy ass puppets.
Hmm.
And then eventually that kind of just blends into the background for you. And you're just watching the most like ridiculous, crazy shit you've ever seen in your life.
I do have an immense amount of respect for this series, and I'm glad they're still making it after. all
Yeah.
these years.
Like a month ago, they Urobuchi announced that the script for season 4 was complete.
Yay.
Which is great because season 3 ended on a huge cliffhanger, guys.
That's awesome.
I love it. I a couple weeks ago, I was down in New York and I visited Tay, stayed with them. Stayed with them for a couple days, and I got them to start watching Thunderbolt Fantasy with me, and they were not into it.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I wanted to. I was hoping you would say like it would lead to them really liking it, but I'm like, I haven't seen Tay post one time about Thunderbolt Fantasy.
No, they were not that into it.
Yeah.
No, you know, if Tay fell in love with the series, that would be
Yeah.
post after post.
Yeah.
Right now, everyone like Shaw and Tay are really into Succession, and this is something that's really
Oh
baffled
god,
me.
they were talking about Succession so much.
This is really baffled. Was Shaw there as well, or just? Or
I saw Shaw had lunch with Shaw,
Oh, cool.
so saw her for just a little bit. But yeah.
Fantastic.
Man, imagine meeting people in real life.
Imagine living in an area where your friends are close by.
I think I'm gonna meet Bex for the first time in a month.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
are you
I'm
doing that?
going. My partner and I are gonna do just like a West Coast road trip.
Wow.
And we're gonna be in Portland for like a day or two.
Dang.
So
Are you driving all the way over there?
no, we're gonna fly into San Francisco and then like rent a car and drive up.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. What was I about to say? Oh, Succession. Yes. Succession has been in such a funny phenomenon where I had not heard of this show at all until like 1 month ago, and now everyone is talking about it. And the show's been going on for years. Like it's on its like 3rd or 4th or 5th season or something. Like it's like it's
I think
close
the
to
3rd
end.
season.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's the best show of all time." I'm like, "Where the fuck have you guys been? What? No one talked about this ever."
Isn't that always what happens, though? That's how
I feel like I heard a decent amount about Succession.
like I didn't hear shit about Breaking Bad until it was like in season 4, and suddenly everybody loved it.
I knew about Breaking Bad for a while. I don't know. Another one that's really making the rounds right now is The Good Doctor. There's clips of The Good Doctor just going all over Twitter.
I am a surgeon.
Yeah. Apparently it's just like really shitty House, and everyone's just making fun of it. But that's another show that's been going on forever. It has like 6 seasons, and I did not know this show existed until a week ago.
I had heard the name.
From what I hear, it is American adaptation of Korean House soap doctor show.
Yes, it's a
which
Korean,
just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yes, it's a Korean drama about an autistic doctor, and it's an American adaptation of this show.
Okay, the American version has been going for 6 seasons?
Apparently.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Dr. Sean Murphy. I can't imagine why he keeps to stay a surgeon with the shit I'm seeing him do. Just walk out of the room, tears in his eyes. It's like, well, you're fired. We can't have you.
I imagine there's some drama with that. I don't know. All the clips I've seen of it seems like it almost feels like the show is just bait. And I don't even try to say that in a way where I'm like dismissing the things it's commenting on, but it's like it's commenting so much that it feels like it's just meant to get a rise out of people. Like, oh, here's a very detailed and descriptive conversation with someone who is transgender from both sides, and it's like, all right, I get it. Show it's just so on the nose with everything. I just kind of like, I've been joking. I'm like, this show's not real. It's something everyone made up. It's
made it all up.
No one is actually watching this.
It's Mandela effect. We have Mandela affected a show into existence.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's actually watching it though, because like I said, I haven't heard about it until a week ago, where everyone started making.
Well, like
fun
you
of
said,
it.
it's not a real show. Yeah, how could anybody watch it?
It doesn't exist. It can't hurt me.
Where does it even air? Netflix?
No, I think it's like a network.
What the fuck?
Network TV.
Yeah,
Disney Plus. It's on every service.
Watch The Good
Disney
Doctor
Plus,
on
Amazon.
Crunchyroll.
On Crunchyroll.net. .gov.
Well, I've been made fun of for not knowing about Succession. Some people are like, "Where have you been? Go outside and talk to people." And I'm like, I do go outside and talk to people. They share the same interests as me, which has nothing to do with live TV usually. That was my transition to saying that I go outside and talk to people now.
You touch
base? What's up with that?
Mostly I just go to concerts. That's been my thing this year.
Man, it's been so long since I've been to a concert.
Concerts are great.
I have been going to a lot of concerts lately, actually.
Yeah, you have?
Yeah. I mean, relatively to what I used to, which is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 in the last year.
Yeah.
Which by like people who go to concert standards is not a lot of concerts.
I guess.
The one I was most excited for out of all of them, I did not get to go to though, which was Rina Sawayama.
Oh yeah,
because I had the tickets for months and everything. I was going to see her, and then like a week and a half later, I was going to France for a 2-week vacation, and she announced the night before the concert that due to some like throat issues she was having, her doctor had forbid her from going through with the show, and that it was going to get rescheduled to the same night that I was flying out of the country.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's unfortunate.
Yep.
I want to shout out.
So I missed that one.
I want to shout out Cats Are Cool 25 in chat, who says they just saw Gojira. I'm going to see Gojira in the summer. That's one of the concerts I have booked. Gojira, Mastodon, and Lorna Shore opening.
That is Well, I don't know about Lorna Shore, but fucking Mastodon and Gojira.
Yep.
I'd love to see that.
Are these all metal bands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gojira and Mastodon are two of the most iconic, legendary metal bands of like the 2000s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, I know Mastodon, but I had never heard of the others.
Yeah, and Lorna Shore is an up and coming. Well, actually, not even up and coming. They've actually been around for a while, but they're a deathcore band that has like an internet famous singer because he just does the most insane shit ever.
Uh-huh.
So they're like really mainstream for death metal standards, and I'm super stoked to see them because they're just a band that everyone's talking about.
Right.
I did not go to this show, but my best friend recently went to a concert for 100 gex.
Oh my god.
100 Bex?
100
And
bucks.
it just sounds like the most deranged shit imaginable. Their opener was
Machine
a band
Girl.
called Machine Girl.
Yes, I am aware of this.
Who did the soundtrack for Neon White.
Yep.
Oh.
Um,
It's like Moss's favorite game of all time.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I kind of have like a tangent on Machine Girl. I've known about them for a while because they're this. I don't even know if you can call them underground anymore. They've gotten quite popular recently, but they make like hardcore EDM that really appeals and is influenced by like internet culture. So like kind of like old sci-fi anime and anime themed RPGs like Phantasy Star Online. You can just kind of listen to a little bit of their music and tell the kind of person they are, and especially you can also tell what their audience is, you know, because like nowadays their first album Wolf Girl is like super popular with people who are terminally online. So I've known about them. I haven't like enjoyed their music a ton, but I've at least known about them and respected their existence for a while. And then last year I just randomly found out that they did the music for this game, and I'm like, okay, well that has to be a crazy game if they got fucking Machine Girl to do the music for it. And yeah, it was Neon White, and it was fucking awesome. And it was
it's funny because all I knew about them, I just heard about them from my friend who went to this concert, was that they did the soundtrack for Neon White, and that game soundtrack bumps.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, sweet, I'll check them out. And I fired up their whatever album was at the top of their Spotify.
Probably Wolf Girl.
And I think it was their most recent one.
Oh, okay.
And it was like getting jump scared. It's like I have back when I was in high school, I listened to a decent amount of emo, so like I'm down with the screaming and everything, but I was definitely not prepared for it. And I was just like sitting at my desk at work with my headphones in, and this like electro screamo starts blaring in my ears. I fell out of my fucking chair.
That's hilarious. I would love to see Machine Girl live. I hear they put on a fantastic show. I cannot fucking stand 100 gex though.
Yeah, I do not get what the appeal of 100
honestly,
gex
I
is.
get it perfectly. It's music for people who are like, lol, I'm so random from the 2000s. It's that,
Sure,
but in musical
yeah.
form.
Well, whenever I listen to it, I'm like, are there people who unironically enjoy listening to this?
Yeah, that's what I wonder
And
too.
I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of music that I actually dislike listening to, but whatever 100 gex is, that is it. And it's funny, I say that even though I'm going to a fucking Death Grips concert in a couple of months, which is another band that you could argue is like, do people like this unironically or not? Which I would say yes. Death Grips is fantastic, but they are heavily memed on for somewhat good reasons.
The one thing I do have to give props to from the 100 gex concert was that apparently in one of the songs they sampled the like opening voice lines from the Father Gascoigne fight in Bloodborne.
Wow.
What's that smell?
They would do that.
I don't know 100 Gex like at all. What do they do?
They're like a weird electronic pop duo. Some people call them hyper pop, I guess.
What? There's only 2 of them?
Yeah, there's only 2. Yeah, 2 Gex.
Shut up!
2
That's
Gex.
not funny.
Where's the rest of the Gex?
Yeah, they're just bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, I think the iconic 100 Gex song is called "Stupid Horse," and the lyrics are just "Stupid horse fell out of the Porsche."
It doesn't even properly rhyme. That's the best. The horse fell out the Porsche.
Yeah, they just make a lot of fucking noise. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love that.
Like
That's so
just
stupid.
listen to some of their stuff and you'll be like, okay, well, I feel
get
more
it.
confused, but at the same time I understand.
Right.
But yeah, my kick lately is that I've been spending all my money going on to concerts. I feel like I'm like
Sneaking into concerts.
sneaking into them. I have like a doomsday theory where I just kind of feel like live music as we know it is dying, because it really is heading into, or I guess already is, in this really unsustainable model where bands just don't make any fucking money. Like, being a band is super unprofitable because streaming doesn't pay shit whatsoever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Touring is even more like costly than ever because gas, all the logistics, shit like that.
To quote Snoop Dogg when he showed up for a Spotify protest,
Yeah.
where's the fucking money?
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like,
and he's
they
right.
get billions of plays and they get like nothing for it. Where's the
Yeah.
fucking money?
He's
Where
right.
did it go?
That's exactly what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
venues are taking bigger cuts. They even take cuts from merch and shit. It's like you just hear about touring and it's like, why the fuck would anyone go on tour ever? It sounds so, and just the idea of being on the road for a long time, doing something physical for a long time, it just doesn't make any sense. And I worry that in a few years, pretty much every band is just gonna stop because
That's sounds like a fucking nightmare.
yeah, because they realize it's just not worth it anymore. They're gonna
Yeah.
give up. I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen. So
Do it on Zoom.
I am
Zoom.
just this year. I've really my goal this year is to go to 10 shows, and I have 8 booked. I've already gone to 4, and I just want to I want to take it all in. I want to go out for as much as I can while I still
That's
can.
nice.
Must be nice living in the country where every band goes.
I mean, you say
fucking
that,
wish-
but I also live in a really weird place where bands will often miss this area, just because, like, despite being in the exact center of the country, that is apparently really inconvenient to travel to. So very often bands will either go north of KC and completely miss the city, or go south and completely miss it.
I'll probably see more concerts once I finally get my driver's license. I'm taking my driver's license, by the way.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
At the spry young age of 33, I'm finally getting a driver's license. Because so many bands, when they do European tours, they'll go to Sweden and they'll go to Germany. They'll just
They literally can't get between those two places without going through Denmark. But
like fucking assholes. Yeah. So once I can drive, maybe I'll go see some bands in Sweden or Germany.
Nice.
I usually go to like this big metal festival every summer, Copenhagen.
Sounds awesome.
It's the best
Cope
shit
in
ever.
hell.
Copenhagen. I went to it 10 years, working volunteer every year. And then COVID happened and it shut down for 2 years, and then it came back, sold out immediately, and I couldn't go.
Damn.
And now I'm working a job where we're doing a bunch of gig work at the exact same time every year, but in a different place. So it's been a while since I've gone there, and I miss it because that's the one time all the big metal bands want to go here is festivals.
Right. Yeah.
That's another thing that's inconvenient about this area that I live in. There are no big festivals anywhere. We did used to have a festival. We had the biggest single day outdoor rock and metal festival in America, or maybe even the entire world. I don't fucking know. And it took place here in Kansas City. It was called Rockfest. It even had a cool, catchy name that you would want to go to. And they would bring in big bands all the time.
That sounds so generic.
It is. It really is. But it's fine. It's still something, and it's something I...
Welcome to Flavortown, USA, Rockfest.
And it's something that I went to a couple of times in my teens. That was kind of how I got into the concert culture and learned stuff, you know?
There's a festival here called Boston Calling that I think is pretty big. I've never been. I think it's pretty big, but from everything I've heard from actual like habitual festival goers, it sucks.
Oh.
I don't know why that is, but that's what the word on the street is.
Maybe it's just festivals in general, because that's kind of how it was here with this festival. It's like everyone would go to it, but then it's like, oh, it's like 50,000 people, tons of fucking asshole people, throw trash everywhere. It always, there's always something about it that just sucks. It's like it's like it's too big to appreciate, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, Kiwi. Please get earplugs. Get earplugs. Don't be stupid. Go wear earplugs to concerts.
Don't wear earplugs. You look like a pussy.
Don't be a bitch.
No one will actually notice that you're wearing earplugs.
Yes, they will.
No, they fucking won't. Why?
I notice. I take mental note. I judge you.
Okay. Okay, Mister. Mister lives in a country that doesn't have concerts and isn't going to them.
It's uncalled for.
You can't see my ears anyway because it's all covered in hair. So get fucked.
You have hairy ears?
Yes, I have really hairy ears.
It's really hard to get the earplugs in fast, though.
Yeah. You don't even need them. You just shove all the hair in.
I mean, I'll just post a picture of Fennekin. There we go. That's something with really hairy ears.
How does that thing even hear anything?
Probably doesn't. No, I went to a couple shows last year and didn't wear earplugs because I'm like, whatever, not gonna think about it too much. And the thing is, not only is it unhealthy, but it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you're just like, the sound comes at you so forcefully that you don't even hear it properly. Like, it's just a bunch of so I started wearing earplugs and it's like, oh, this is what just other people hear when they
just as God intended.
Yeah,
a wall of sound.
I can listen to this now. This makes sense.
Why don't they just play at a lower volume?
Yeah, why can't they just do an acoustic show, safe for everybody? Why they gotta make so much noise?
Just turn it down like 10 decibels, 10 dBs.
We'll mosh to.
Why can't the bands just come out when the opener is done? That's what I want to know.
That is definitely the worst thing, waiting between sets.
Yeah.
Just standing there.
Yeah.
I could go to the bathroom, but then I'm going to lose my spot.
Depends on who you're around. Some people will be cool and just let you back in.
And let you piss right there on the floor.
I think
Yep.
that is true if you can get back to your spot.
That's what
the difficulty is in like traversing the bulk of the crowd. I find once you are like back to where you were standing before, the people there will recognize you and be like, "Oh, come up here."
Right.
But actually getting to that point is the difficult part.
I think one of the last concerts I went to was Baby Metal. It was a fucking great concert. Or it would have been if I could see anything.
Wow.
Fucking so people are so tall, not standing in the back. It's like why do you think it's cool for you, 6 foot fuck tall asshole, to stand in the middle of the room? Half the room behind you can't see anything.
Were you did you have like pit tickets?
There's no pit. It's a pretty like medium sized venue. It wasn't. It was like indoors,
So
medium sized
you had
venue.
like an actual chair to sit in.
No, I was standing.
Oh. So that would be the pit. If it was standing
Yeah,
remotely.
there was no seating.
Yes. Okay.
So it was okay. Okay, I guess it's a standing concert,
Sure.
and everybody was like, "I'm not short. I'm not tall either. Like perfectly medium here, 5'11". I couldn't see shit. Fucking assholes. Get to the back. If you're taller than 6 foot, get to the back of the room.
Those people need to have seats.
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's like there were people around me even shorter than me who truly could not see anything. Like, show like just a bit of decency, right? Let them go up front.
I don't know. Admittedly, I haven't really had this issue. I don't know. Maybe you went to a bad venue.
Are you tall?
No. I'm 5'9". I'm shorter than you.
Manlet Moss.
Yes. That's what they call me in the street. That's what they call me in the pit. Manlet mob.
Yeah.
Then you could put your hair up real tall and still block the view.
Yeah.
For everybody behind you.
I should just get really, really strong hair gel and just stand it up straight. I'll be
It's just
like
a
8 feet.
It's just a normal venue, but I don't know, for some reason every tall person in the room had decided to stand like in the middle and forward.
Well, that sucks.
So that was bad. That was fun though.
I guess
It's always
you just went to a place with all the tallest, manliest, burliest chads, because that's who baby metal is for.
It truly is. It's so funny. Like they played at the Copenhagen Festival too, and it's just the greatest energy of any concert ever. People was having so much fun.
Oh, I saw an all-girl Japanese punk band called Otoboke Beaver earlier this year, and that had the craziest energy that I think I've ever experienced.
Oh,
Cool.
Otopoke Beaver.
Otoboke Beaver.
Yeah, right. What does that mean?
I have no fucking clue.
Do some research. God damn.
I don't know. But yeah, that was like the craziest show. Like it's also the show that I had, maybe not the lowest, but like the most confused expectations of. Like I had no idea what this show was going to be like. I'm like, what kind of set are they going to play? What audience is going to show up for this? Like, I have no idea. And yeah, it was just the most wild, raucous show ever. It was awesome. It was so sick.
Cool.
It was it was just a sea of moshing and shoving and pushing and movement. It was so physical.
With song titles such as "I Am Not Maternal,"
Yeah,
I won't dish out salads.
they're fantastic.
Awesome.
Um,
It's named after a love hotel in Osaka.
that makes sense.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I've been up to in my life. Going to shows, getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Related or?
No, related, because I go into mosh pits and then I get exhausted after 2 seconds because I'm super out of shape.
Cool. Just
Yes.
making sure.
Yeah, moshing is a young man's game. That is.
That's why I'm going to so many shows while I'm still in my 20s. I don't want to be old and broken and not be
Yeah.
able to do this anymore.
I gave that up a long time ago. How did I ever do that? It's so fucking exhausting.
It is. I don't
You know what's also exhausting?
what.
I've been going out and meeting people by going to Warhammer tournaments.
Yo. Yeah, you got
Standing
really
up.
Warhammer this year.
Yeah, I decided to start playing. Like I've been collecting it for upwards of like almost exactly 3 years now.
Uh-huh.
But I had never played, so I decided to to start around New Year's, a little bit before New Year's, and like pretty consistently been playing once or twice every single week.
That's awesome. If I like acquired another hobby, I would probably just kill myself. But I do think that Warhammer, like actually playing Warhammer, seems very cool. Seems like a great game.
It's extremely fun. It's in a very like janky state right now where I had a game today where the opponent just after turn 1 gave up because there was no because I just had him in a choke.
Because you just like obliterated him.
There was like he made a move. I clapped back as hard as I could, and there was nothing he could do from there. So that is kind of the state of the game. It's very much after turn 1 or 2, you can like, okay, there's no game left here. So they're like resetting everything in a couple months for the 10th edition. So everybody's getting new, very basic rules. Hopefully that solves things. Because it's very swingy right now.
Yeah, based on what because you post the result of all of your matches, and it seems like it's very matchup reliant, like whatever you're doing. Because it's always because you always post like, oh yeah, I faced this guy. It was just an instant lose with my build or whatever.
Right. Because I've been playing an army of big robots, which is very skew. It's very like if you have the tools to deal with them, then it's a cakewalk. But if certain armies just have zero play into it, like there's an army of space clowns called Harlequins, they can just do nothing. They have nothing that can touch me. They have to get really lucky with a few powerful pistol shots they have, and then other than that, they just die.
Are you playing Chaos Marine still? Do you give up on the Skeleton?
I still have my Necrons, and I love my Necrons. I'm going to start playing them again now, just before the new edition, because I've been playing Chaos Knights for a long time now. Chaos Marines, I never got started playing. I don't have enough.
Uh-huh.
But I am still building that, because, I mean, Hazard Stripes. Fucking awesome. Satanic super soldiers and Hazard Stripes. That's badass. But I've been playing my Chaos Knights for months now. They're so fun. It's like they're the one army that has never gotten any buff or nerf since their codex came out, and they're at like consistently a 50%.
The perfect sweet spot.
They're perfectly balanced somehow. It's like right around 50% win rate, and never any alterations to the rules for them. They're just perfect, and it's so fun. So yeah, last weekend I went to a 2-day tournament. 3 games on the first day, 2 games on the second day. I was the broken man. Because these games last like 3 hours, and you're just like walking around the table, like slightly bent over, rolling hundreds, if not thousands of dice. It is exhausting in a way you didn't think tabletop games could be. Plus, you have to.
How big is the table?
60 by 44 inches.
Okay.
So pretty big.
Yeah.
With a lot of terrain on it, and you always have to think like 2 turns ahead. If I put a guy here, what does that get me? What does that let him do? And once he's done that, am I still alive?
Right.
Will I get anything for this? I learned so much every single game, and now they're about to change the edition again.
And you're gonna have to start over.
It's kind of the core of the game of like it's basically chess, right? You're trading. It's like I'm putting this cheap unit here to lure out an expensive unit, and then they do whatever, and then next turn I can come in and just delete them, like if they take the bait, essentially. And currently, like, knights don't have cheap units. It's all 150 points at least. It's not like, oh, this is an expendable unit, I can just sacrifice this. No, they're all essential. I can't give anything away. So certain matchups are just a nightmare for knights, because there's so much chaff you had to get rid of, and they can just block your movement. But it's so much fun. Like it scratches the right parts of my brain the right way. I'm like, oh my god, this is so exciting. Except when it's like, oh my god, I'm getting destroyed and I still have to play for 2 more hours. There's no way this is gonna end well.
That's so cool.
I tried for a couple of years. The last couple of years, I got into the Pokemon TCG, and my goal was to eventually build myself up to where I could play competitively and like go to regionals and stuff. But kind of, lately I've been hearing about what it's like to go to regionals because those came back like last year or so. They finally brought back live events, and it just sounds like a giant pain in the ass. And like a total nightmare to do. Which I mean, part of it is due to just the physical strain of doing that at going to events like that, but also it's just like the game itself is like in a shit state. Management is in a shit state.
Yeah. I mean, there's always in competitive nerd games like this. There's always power gaming, like meta builds. There's certain things you can take that are just like guaranteed easy mode. But people, at least in Denmark, that's not really an issue in Warhammer, because like there are certain armies that are really fucking busted, but only one showed up at the big tournament. Of course it won, but it's like no one expected any different. It's like there's literally no play into it. It'll just shoot you from behind a wall where you can't shoot it and win. That is what it does.
Balance.
And that is exactly super balanced, right? Just how Games Workshop intended.
In Magic, which is my big hobby of this sort, it's in a weird place because a few years ago, Wizards of the Coast basically just like got rid of the entire pro scene more or less, and like all of like the organized events and all that just like completely disappeared. And then in the last year, they've brought it back. Like they're doing pro tours again and everything. But the format, which has always been the game's like premier marquee format, which is standard, which is like the one format that rotates. It only uses cards from the last couple years. Has not recovered. There's like nobody playing standard, at least like in paper. Only on like their online client.
That seems so weird.
Well, I think there are a lot of possible reasons for it, but just like during the most recent Pro Tour, which was a couple weeks ago, they announced that they want to like make it one of their priorities as a company to like reinvigorate standard play in paper.
But when you say they've deleted like pro play, what does that mean? How can you do that?
Since the 90s, Magic has had a consistent like pro tour like tournament series where they do like 4 major tournaments a year, like and cities all over the globe, with like this whole support structure of like qualifying tournaments that lead into them, as well as a world championship. And in like I think 2019, they just canceled the Pro Tour. They just said this isn't a thing we're going to do anymore.
That is really weird, and does not sound like a good idea. Which is exactly why Wizards of the Coast would do it.
So does that mean like the scoreboard, like the leaderboard, that is run by Wizards?
What do you mean?
Like who keeps? Presumably, you play the Pro Tour to like earn points. I assume it's like you become the best, right?
Yeah, well, like the Pro Tour itself was kind of the pinnacle. Like there's the World Championship above that, but I think the way you qualified for the Pro Tour is that there were other like events below that where you would like earn points for placing in those, and then with a certain amount of points you could get to the Pro Tour. But they got rid of that whole system.
Okay.
And now they've brought it back again and everything, and they've just had their second Pro Tour under the new regime. But they're trying to get people to play Standard again, and the first thing they announced that they're doing for that is Standard is just not going to rotate this year. Like all the cards that are supposed to be leaving the format are just going to stay there. Because like one of the big pieces of feedback for why people want to play other formats that don't rotate and not standard is because if you play standard, then every year, like half the cards in the format just disappear, like, and your deck just doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
So I think this is decent in theory, but it also it's weird because nobody plays this format in paper, but tons and tons of people play it online. And not only is there more online play, but just due to how much easier it is to play on the internet than in real life, people play so many more games, and like the meta gets solved super fast and everything. And now all of the people who have been playing this same meta forever, and we're looking forward to a couple months when all the best cards in the format disappear, are going to be dealing with the same meta again for another year.
That doesn't feel great.
No. So I think it's interesting, potentially even exciting that they're trying to do this, but I am really wary of their approach to it. And more to the point, when they announced they were trying to like reinvigorate standard play, I was like, okay, like there's a deck I've been playing online that like is not a meta deck, doesn't use a lot of like the meta cards that you'd expect to be super expensive or anything. Like if my local store started running standard events, like how much would it cost me to like get this deck and participate? And I plugged it all in, and it was $530.
Nice.
Like not running any meta cards or anything.
My brother in Christ, if I could have a full Warhammer army for that money.
Yeah. I was like, I would probably like go and play in paper if I could do so for $100.
100, yeah.
That seems like the bigger issue that the game has if people aren't playing
Right.
paper for that reason.
But as long as like this is the format like of official supported formats. This is the one with the lowest barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Because all the other ones just use like all of the oldest, most busted cards in the game that like don't get printed anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Like as long as this is the setup, there's like 0% chance that I'm ever actually going to like go to my store and play a game.
That's all very fascinating to hear, because the way competitive Warhammer works, it's like an amalgamation of like 3 or 4 different entities. It's like one company has something called the ITC, the International Tournament Circuit, which is like anybody can apply to make a tournament. Like the one I just went to was part of that, because they said, okay, 40 people are coming, 50, and we're going to submit our scores to this and become part of the official meta, right?
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how well you place, you get ITC points. And then at the end of the year, there is a objective best player in the world, right?
Right.
So this company, Frontline Gaming is their name. They put on a bunch of really big tournaments, but anybody can do it. It's like independent organizers. And
but then are rankings based then on like
I don't actually know,
like point total across all your results?
It's based on, I think, you score different, like on how you place in a tournament. I don't know if points matter, but like win-loss record matters.
Mm-hmm.
You can score a lot of points in a tournament and still lose.
But there's no like world championship tournament.
No, that's not like a finale. Well,
okay.
There usually ends up being anyway. There was this year, just because the best players obviously go to the same tournaments. So by the end of the last year's bracket, I guess, system, all the best players in the world were at the same tournament, and the 1 and 2 ended up playing each other in the finals.
Okay.
And it's like there's another company who makes like a free app that everybody uses to score their games, called Goonhammer. It's like Games Workshop puts on a lot of tournaments. Like they make they have like an invitational and stuff, which is more like, I don't know if they actually count as ITC points for that. They're just like little tournaments, and you win a trophy. So this is like a little standalone thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the World Team Championship tournaments, because the team-based Warhammer is getting big too.
How does that work?
It works in that you have a team of 5 players, and everybody has their own army, and like you match up, and it's really, it's so different, and it's really interesting because
That sounds cool.
you don't play at the same time. You play like at the same time but different tables, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's scored a lot different because it's not about winning or losing. It's about, if you're losing with the lowest possible score differential. So there's
Right.
a lot of
So
there's a lot of value in
yeah.
armies that can just like roadblock the enemy and make sure that, like, if you have an army that is not very good on paper but is very good at choking up like enemy units and making sure they don't score, then you can put that army against like the best one of the, like, if the opponent has one that's just like the motherfucker army that you don't have any good matchup into, you put like the sandbag army against that,
just to like grind them out so they
just
don't
to
blow out
grind-
their opponent.
right? Because depending on how much you win by, you score between like 0 and 20 points for the team.
Interesting.
Perfectly even within a 5-point margin, you get 10 points each. So if one scores 60 and the other scores 61, that's technically a draw. Both get 10 points. But if one person beats the other by 50 points, that's a 20-0. So you have to close the gap as much as possible. So if one on your team completely crushes the opponent, 20-0, that gives some leeway to the other people on the team to maybe not go as hard, right?
How does it decided who plays against who?
I think I haven't done this, but I'm pretty sure it's like you both have 5 armies and then you flip a coin. It's like, okay, we put this army forward. We say or maybe they do 2. I think they put one forward, like, okay, we have our 1 Space Marine army, and then the opponent gets to pick 2 to put against it, and then the challenger, like the first guy, says, I want that one. So it's like you decide.
Okay, cool.
So there's
That's
like
consistent.
strategy and how to, like, you match it up yourself.
Yeah.
And that is picking up steam because it's like this extra layer of strategy and giving some value to otherwise bad armies, where you have something like Necrons, which is they don't win a lot anymore, but they always score well. They have really good scoring capabilities. They can't kill anything. That's the issue they have.
Okay. But you can get like other objectives.
But you can relatively consistently get like 70 points with them. So even if your opponent gets 100, that's only like 15-5. It's not a 20-0.
And are there rules about like not allowing duplicate armies across the team?
Yes. Only one of each faction, which also means that even though there's like 20 different Space Marines, you can have 1 Space Marine army, and you can have 1 Eldar army.
Right. That does sound cool.
So that is rad, and it's not a big thing here yet, but it's picking up in the rest of the world, so I'm hoping it becomes more of a thing. I'd love to try it. Yeah.
Do you have like a big like local scene where you are?
Not that big. It's like we all play at the same like hobby store, the place we all shop. Every Wednesday they're open late for wargaming.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually just all go there and play and hang out. It's like you slowly get to know everybody. You become friends real quick too, because it's like, okay, hello stranger, let's spend 3 hours.
3 hours, yeah.
And see if by the end we're not better friends, right?
Right.
Yeah, we just hanging out. Cool. And then spending like an entire weekend just with like 50 other nerds.
Right.
Sleeping in a big like sports it's like complete, it's like school trip, right? Sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor. It was so nice.
Right. And like that sounds cool about like
the community
if I were to play Paper Magic or something, but it's just not worth it.
The community is so welcoming. Everybody's so nice.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier, like thing about power gaming and metagaming. Of course, some people do it, but it's honestly kind of rare. I was shocked going to this tournament because it costs money to go there, so people usually try a little harder. So it's like no, you expect no mercy, no quarter, but everybody tries to have fun anyway. It's like we all go there. We know this guy's gonna win because he brought the list.
Yeah, because he's got the best army.
He bought 30 of the new broken thing, and now he can't lose.
Right.
Honestly, I think I would have had a decent game into him. Because the new broken thing is very good at removing infantry, and I don't have infantry. I have big scary robots. So fucking try me. He would have deleted me in 2 turns, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, people usually just bring whatever they want. It's like they're inspired by the meta list. It's like I like the list I have. Certainly, it's taken some inspiration from things I've seen others do. But it's my list.
Right.
Like I take my specific number of like certain guns on certain units, different loadouts, and then it's fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
Because usually people have kind of a, I don't know, like a special relationship with their army, right? They have, this is my favorite army. I love this character. I know the medalist doesn't have this character, but I don't care. I love this one character. I'm bringing him. Right. He doesn't synergize very well with anything. He's a complete waste of points, but I love him. So he's going. That's usually how people play this. Even when they're trying hard, there's always some weird little thing they do.
And that's cool. Like, it sounds... that's a rare kind of attitude to find in a competitive game.
It's because there's so much hobby to it, right?
Right.
If Magic had you painting all your cards yourself,
right?
People are showing up with the armies they've had for 15 years. Like they build them, they paint them.
Yeah.
Some people, like the true asshole power gamers, they don't do any of that. They hire people to build and paint, and then they just show up with the broken thing. Some people certainly do that, and I don't want to play with them because that's not the right attitude to have towards this game. It's also it's fucking dolls. It's plastic dolls and dice.
Right.
Like, fucking take it easy. Winning at all cost is not fun.
Well,
for any,
it's interesting actually.
What the hell was that?
The actual what was what?
I heard a sound too.
Like it was like a loud zipper being unzipped.
Oh, I just moved my mic, so that might have something to do.
Maybe that was it.
Crazy.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry, continue.
The like actual most popular way to play Magic now is a format called Commander, which is like an unofficial, non-sanctioned format by Wizards. And rather than having like 60 card decks and everything, it's 100 card decks. Whoa. And you get to just like pick a legendary creature called your commander that you can just is always in your hand, basically. To be like your deck's leader. And that like lets people, like build around whatever thing they want that like speaks to them and make these like super personalized decks. And it's pretty easy to see why in comparison to the sort of like hardcore hyper competitive formats, this one has blown up so much, and now is like by far the most popular way to play the game.
That also
even though it's like basically not even the same game, because it's also like a 4-player free for all.
Oh,
it's
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Pokemon is dealing with something a little bit similar, although there's a fan-made format called Gym Leader Challenge, because what Pokemon does is they print like the regular Pokemon cards, but then there are like the extra powerful Pokemon cards that they have on top of that, and those are generally the meta-defining cards. Well, basically, an influencer in the community is just like, you know what? How about just fuck all that shit and just go back to the regular Pokemon cards? So this format removes what are called rule box cards, and it just goes to the basics, and you can only have one copy.
So is that like Charizard EX?
Exactly. That is not allowed.
Shit? Yeah.
So it just regular Charizard is allowed. Except you can only have one copy of each card in the deck, except for basic energy.
Yeah.
And you can also only use Pokemon of one particular type. Like a gym.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah.
So if you want to have...
Are type advantages like an important thing in
the
TCG?
With matchups.
Okay.
Like most cards will be weak to one particular type. And that'll deal double damage.
Gotcha.
Okay. But it was interesting. Like, not to keep going back to it, but the tournament I went to, it was very, very eye-opening in certain ways. Like, my first game was into a guy I played 100 times before. Plays the Clowns. We knew how that was going to go. Getting stomped. It was just it was a bloodbath. And then second game, I lost because it was just a horrible matchup for me. The one thing that my robots don't want to do is get into melee, and the other guy was an entire army of melee on jetpacks. So I did not want to get close to him at all, and that means I could not score any points. And then my third game that day was probably the best game I've ever had, which was against Space Marines, like fire salamanders they're called. The green Space Marines using nothing but flamethrower weapons. And that was perfect. It was so fun. It was like so evenly matched. Every round was like push and pull. It never snowballed into a complete blowout, which is like a horrible trend in the game currently.
Yeah.
Like once something goes wrong, it goes really wrong. This was just so fun. The best game I've ever had.
Cool.
And then it was because like you end up like hanging. I didn't know anybody there other than who I've seen at the game store. So you kind of just end up tagging along with people you've seen before. So I ended up playing 2 out of the 5 guys I had found to hang out with. And that was one of them, this Salamanders guy. And that was just so great. It's like, this is why we do it.
Yeah.
This is the real shit.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's a great game. Then the following day I made like a huge mistake in my first game, got my ass blown out. And then the second game was also kind of close, just against Imperial Guard, who are bustedly good. So even though the opponent wasn't like a great player, I still scored real good. Like I did as well as I could have, I think. He still just won by 20 points because of the way they score points require them to do nothing. They just sit at home and score so many points. It is horrible game design, but that is how they work.
It sounds like it's lore accurate too, right? From what little I know of the Warhammer lore.
Right. It's like certain... I mean, I guess that is kind of what they're going for, is like do what the faction would do in real life and get points for it. But some armies have. It's way too easy.
Yeah.
Like, you should at least have to interact with the opponent to score maximum points on every single secondary objective you have. Where I have to kind of go out and stand on points, be vulnerable to score points. Right. Like, you can just shoot me off him. Now I don't score any points anymore. He can just sit at home and get max 3 different ones. Yeah, the game is wild right now, and it's gonna get crazy again in 10th edition because they changed the game, where currently every mission has a way of scoring like up to 15 points a turn on a primary mission. They're gonna keep that, but they're gonna do a new thing where in turn 3, if everything's gone to shit, you can ignore the primary and go for something called a gambit, which is just saying, okay, scorched earth, bomb the entire place. And now when it's like, okay, I've lost the entire thing. Fuck it. I just need to get all my units out of here. I run to the corners of the battlefield, and then by the end of the game, I roll 2d6. And if the result is 12 or higher, I get 30 points. And you get a +1 to the roll for every unit within a corner.
Yeah.
So that's just to simulate, okay, the battlefield is lost. Nuke it. I'm running away.
That's wild.
So, yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like,
Cool.
at some point, someone's gonna do that and roll a 12, and it's gonna ruin somene's day.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. It's
And
so
then there'll be like the whole big like fan base discourse about whether this is how whether this is like how the game is meant to be played.
Well, I mean, if you're just ahead by more than 30 points, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're getting crushed already, you can at least try to score more points. And if in doing that, you can also stop the opponent from getting more than 30 ahead of you, then you have a 1 in, like, still have to roll a 12. So if you get 1 unit to the corner, you have to roll a 12. If you
Right.
if the opponent just has to kill all your units, and if they're already in a point where they have taken the entire battlefield and killed all your stuff, then that shouldn't be
doesn't
too
make a
hard.
difference.
Should be too hard to do, but it's like it's a chance
Right.
to get a handful of extra points, and I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely going for more. It feels more casual and narrative, rather than the current state of like the competitive state
Yeah.
of the game right now. So yeah, game is changing. It's gonna be fun. Gotta be fun. Because
All your like models and everything still usable with a new
Yes.
edition.
Yeah.
Okay.
nothing. Well, I don't know. they could just say this doesn't exist anymore. They do that sometimes, but only for really old stuff.
That
Okay.
would suck.
Well, I mean, certain armies have looked very different. The game has been around since like the 80s.
Is
So
it that old?
So it's so old. This is 10th edition coming out soon.
Yeah, I guess.
Every edition lasts like 3 or 4 years. So yeah. There are certain units that you can't buy them anymore, and at a certain point they kind of lose their data sheet, like their special rules, and they just become generic. Like, you can still use the model. It still represents something, but it's not what it used to be.
Okay, got it.
And that sometimes they say, okay, now this one has to have a larger base. So if I have 15 of a thing,
Right, because you like
not-
measure distances between things from like the edge of
base
space,
sizes
right?
matter in terms of like measuring distances and buffs from characters. So
Uh-huh.
an old leader character on a 25mm base, maybe it goes up to a 40, and then you just have to rebase it. No biggie.
Yeah.
You can always use like weird conversions and stuff like that. That's allowed. Like, you can just make your own thing. That's why it's so customizable too. Like, the hobby aspect of it is huge.
Yeah.
So that's where all my time and money is going. Nah, I have everything I need almost, except now I'm getting more Necron stuff because the monolith is looking great.
And because they're just your favorite.
And because they're my favorite. They're my baby.
Yeah.
I love my robot skeletons. Hmm.
I'm just looking at stuff.
I'm just looking at Elden Ring still installing. It's at 53% now,
Wow.
Oh my god.
and has been for 100 years.
Crazy.
That is where it got stuck the first time too. What do I do?
I remember that happening with my old PS3 when I tried taking that out a few years ago. Last time I tried using that, it didn't work very well. I could go on a tangent about that, but this has been long, so
It has.
let's probably just wrap this up.
Yeah, let's
Yep.
call it.
All right. Well, that was a
Bye.
long conversation about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it was-
hangs, pals.
Yeah, but it was pretty good. Glad we could be doing stuff like this again. It's like I've always said, just like anytime we could do a podcast, we might as well just do a podcast, even if it's
Right.
about random shit. Because you know
Yeah.
what, that's fun. So appreciate it.
People love random shit.
Yeah, we love random shit, and we are random shit. All right,
Exactly.
funny outro. Discord links in description. Appreciate you all watching and listening, and we'll catch you maybe in a week or two.
Yeah.
With either another random podcast talking about whatever or something actually important like anime.